One of my friends actually told me about the Beyond Our Skin competition, and I just looked it up on Instagram on the page that they have there, and I just found everything that was on there was so inspirational, and I loved what it all meant, and so I just applied. I didn't think my story would ever win, no way.
People maybe not in the tattoo world or whatever don't understand the significance or the power or the effect that a tattoo can have on your overall state of being and your overall well-being, you know what I mean?
The main influence behind my pieces is my daughter Ruby. She was diagnosed with a brain tumour in 2010. She wasn't sick for very long and we lost it quite quickly. Yeah.
I first decided I wanted to get tattoos when I seen my brother getting tattoos when he was 18, and I was like, well, what's that? Like, that looks cool. So I just had a love for them ever since then, really.
Getting this tattoo will hide that part of my life, like make me feel better about myself, so I won't have to constantly look at the reminders of the hurt that I was going through. I'll have something pretty to remind myself now.
It's like a cleansing in a way as well, because your mind is always thinking, your heart's always feeling, but then when your body joins the two and you have this piece of art to express what you've gone through, it can be an addictive way of self-expression, definitely.
Basically, when you lose a child, it never gets easier. Like it's always at the back of your mind. But basically Nevaeh was my firstborn baby. But since having Nevaeh I have 2 boys now. But yeah, just having that little girl, and yeah, so basically we don't know exactly why she passed away, because there was hospital negligence, which is really heartbreaking.
The date represents the day that I overdosed. So I went through a lot as a child. I was actually abused from the ages of 3 to 10 by 3 different family members. And I struggled with that secret for about 15 years. I never told anybody.
I learned about Garage Inc. from Tennille on Bondi Inc. And one of my good friends, he's had a lot of work done by Tennille and Garage Inc. So I've been a big fan for a long time.
My story is about what happened with me when I was on bed rest. I went through my first pregnancy and had a lot of complications from the beginning. So from 20 weeks I started getting these symptoms that weren't normal, and I'd driven 18 hours in a car and then realised that it wasn't normal and went to the hospital, and I didn't come out for 4 months basically, in and out. I had problems with my heart, just couldn't keep it in rhythm, and I had 4 trips to the delivery suite. The doctors told me that my baby wasn't going to survive.
A couple of weeks ago, my brother came to get a tattoo from Tennille of my sister, who unfortunately passed away about 1.5 years ago. And he wanted to bring me along for the day, and I just said, I'd love it if you'd come down, like really close and stuff. And I had to take the day off work, which was a bit of a bummer because I really needed the money as well. But came down, and as soon as I got here, I just felt like super comfortable, and like it was just going to be a good day sort of thing, And after meeting Tennille and sitting down and going through the artwork and stuff, just the overall feel was so positive, and something deeper as well, you know what I mean? Like, some people may not be as interested in this side of things, but for me it just felt like everything had lined up to that day like really well for Paddy, like for my brother, and to get this tattoo, but for all of us as well, to be able to see my sister come to life on his skin was going to be pretty crazy, And that was an epic day. The tattoo came out amazing. He was super stoked, and the 3 of us were able to have some really awesome conversations about different aspects of life and beyond the skin type conversations, I guess you could say.
When I first met Mimsy, my story came out so naturally. Like I'm quite closed off, and I don't really know many people. I'm not a very social person, and with her it just kind of it all came out kind of thing, and yeah, she made it easy.
This is my little baby Bruce, who's my puppy. somebody baited him and his sister when they were only about 4 months old, so I don't really know like much to say about it. Like, it's just the worst thing that could ever happen, really.
I was very hesitant to apply for the Beyond Your Skin competition. My mum was the one that pushed me to enter it, but because I'm really insecure about my story. But I ended up writing my story and entering, so yeah.
It wasn't until I got sick that I pretty much thought, no, you know, I love the art, I love the doing it. And when I was sick, they didn't think that I was going to survive very long. So they gave me a few years, and I figured I might as well live life the way I want to live. I had facial paralysis, I had a tube in my stomach because I was being fed through a peg tube, and people were always staring at me, and I figured, well, what's the problem then? And I just started with my artwork from there, and it became a personal journey for sure.
My main influence behind the tattoos I get is more personal meanings. Like the 3 tattoos that I do have are just mainly writing, but they just have different significant meanings. But then with this bigger piece, yeah, it's quite like a tribute piece. Yeah.
My mum found me, I overdosed in my bedroom, and I went through to the hospital. And because of the amount of medication I had taken, there actually had been a blood clot that had formed in my heart. For the first time, kind of sat there, and I wasn't even sitting in a mental illness ward, I was sitting in a cardiac ward with all these women that had kind of pacemakers, and they were old, and they were talking about the ends of their life and, you know, how fulfilled it had been and all this kind of thing. And I'm sitting there by myself in my little cubicle just being told that I had a blood clot in my heart and that I was possibly going to die from it. After just pondering on it for a little moment before my family came down, I just started praying. And I'd never really prayed before, I'd never really been like that, but I was like, if I'm worth anything, if what I've been through was worth anything, if I'm meant to do something with it, if I'm meant to be alive, then like make the blood clot go away, just make it go. And so I didn't let my family come down. I told them not to because I didn't want my mom to see me like that and all that kind of thing. And they did another test an hour later, and it turned out the blood clot had disappeared completely. So I then went on like a path of kind of enlightenment and a spiritual kind of journey.
Each one marks a different journey in my life. They're positive reminders of what I've overcome, positive things that I've done, and express my inner feelings, and yeah.
On the Tuesday just gone, my dog Roxy, who is my best friend, my everything, my rock. And I know everyone has had dogs, or a lot of people have had dogs, and it's a common thing to lose a dog, and people deal with it in different ways. But to me, Roxy was not just a dog, you know, like she was my best friend. She was with me through all the hardest parts of my life. She was like my support. She was just so much, you know. And so when she passed on Tuesday, that was quite a difficult, really difficult day for me. And I was automatically thinking that I had this photo that I would love to Neil to do a portrait for me. But I thought, well, you know, her being pregnant at the moment and then her ridiculous waiting list, because obviously she's so amazing, that wasn't going to happen for a while. And I'd accepted that, and that was okay. And then on the Friday of that week, when I was sitting there and, you know, wasn't in a great place, whatever, I was just contemplating things, and I got a text message from her explaining that someone had pulled out for today and that there was an opportunity to come in and possibly get tattooed. And she obviously didn't know about rocks at that stage, so she thought maybe I'd want to get my sister tattooed as well, because I was so blown away with Paddy's one. And just straight away when I was sitting there, I just knew, the tears were just flowing straight away. And not in a cheesy way, man, like it's, people maybe not in the tattoo world or whatever don't understand the significance or the power or the effect that a tattoo can have on your overall state of being and your overall well-being, you know what I mean? And as soon as I found that out, it was just, to me, it was like a light at the end of the tunnel, you know, because I was feeling like it was getting pretty dark there. And yeah, so I texted her and said, hey, like, you wouldn't believe how perfect this is, because this is just what's happened, and I'm really hopeful that you want to do this tattoo. I'll send you through some pictures. And here I am. It's crazy. Yeah, I couldn't really put into words the significance of today, and in an attempt to, it would just sound cheesy or something, you know what I mean? But it's just, everything's lined up perfect.
So it was a lot of mental training and just trying to keep it together every day, and because I never knew, I was keeping it hour by hour, sometimes minute by minute with what was going on, and there was a lot of pain involved, just a lot of things that were uncertain at the time, and it just goes to show how much life sometimes just throws you a curveball, and everything can be completely different to what you thought it was going to be. You have no control over things like that too. So for me, it was just, yeah, it was really, really hard. Some of the darkest times of my life, but at the same time, I had a really supportive husband, really supportive family and friends around me. I got sent presents all the time in hospital and cards just to keep me going and reminding me that things were going to be okay. And I had really supportive people on the medical team in the hospital as well, which really helped. But yeah, it comes back to, you just feel so isolated in there, and little things like, once I'd gone through all this, and I was really lucky to get a baby at the end. A lot of people don't get that. They end up leaving the hospital with nothing but a really, really traumatic event. And so I was really, really grateful for that experience. And what I found coming out of it was, yeah, you're just in complete isolation with it all, and going through things like that, it really makes you realise how lucky you are sometimes to get through things. And yeah, it's just a really humbling experience. And I got a baby at the end of it, which was awesome and really exciting, and I surprised all the doctors, and so it was a really, really good story at the end of all that.